Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this installment of Dads on Wrestling, the special Tuesday edition.
I was going to say, here
As once again, you know, I have no indie wrestling to talk about. I'm sure you guys are starting to get very happy of this, but fear not, because next week on Renegade, the two of us will be sitting here, but it'll actually be Renegade, and we will be previewing Red, White, and Bruised for Battleground Pro Wrestling.
Yes, we will.
Got to get that thrown in there. But today, we've got a couple of topics that were submitted for both of us to answer.
Yes.
One to Jeff's Twitter,
which I'm looking up, so it's being
and
first.
one to the YouTube. Awesome. I was hoping you'd do it first, that's why I closed this.
Oh, sorry, I have trouble finding it.
From GW Bad on YouTube.
Yes.
Hey Jeff and JJ, what exactly makes a certain time period classified as an era in WWE? Is it the faces of the company at that time that changes the era, or the types of storylines that take place? For example, the rock and wrestling era in the 80s, the new generation in the early to mid-90s, Attitude Era, PG Era, so on. Your thoughts? Personally, I think it's the type of angles and what they're allowed to do on TV, because there's people from the rock and wrestling era that carried into the new generation. There's people from the new generation that were in the Attitude Era. There's people from the Attitude Era that were in the Ruthless Aggression Era.
Brand extension era. Right,
and then there was people from the Ruthless Aggression Era that are still around in the PG Era.
Yes.
I think, personally, it's the storylines, what the company feels comfortable putting out on their product that defines the era.
I'd have to agree. I was pretty much according out of my mouth. It's with storylines dictating the way that the company is presented, and that's in any company. You know, the storylines are what dictate what happens. You can have anybody wear, you know, an ugly green Boston Celtics shirt. You can have anybody wear red and yellow in 1984. You know, you can have any of that stuff happening. It's the storylines that are driven behind these guys,
and the demographic that the storylines are designed to target.
Exactly. I mean, back in the golden era, the rock and wrestling connection, the golden era, it's like the 50s, Jesus Christ.
Seriously.
The rock and wrestling era, it was designed with Hogan, you know, battling the evil Roddy Piper, dressed in red and yellow, waving the American flag, geared
or
toward
the Iron Sheik.
Or the Iron Sheik, geared toward the kids, and, you know, and bringing the families back into wrestling after, you know, wrestling being predominantly for 60 years roughly a smoke-filled, you know, booze drinking, you know, guys only, you know, bringing their buddies, you know, to see like the boxing fights, you know.
For lack of a better term, I'm gonna go Little Rascals here. The He-Man Woman Haters Club.
Exactly, for 60-something years, you know, from actually even before that, because back before wrestling became sports entertainment in the 20s with Ed Strangler Lewis and his refusal to lose. At the end of the day, you know, look it up, it happened. You know, it was very much, you know, smoke-filled arenas, you know, not selling out huge markets, you know, except like the Garden and things like that. A lot of just small little, you know, local arenas and everything like that. And when Hogan came in, when Vince Jr. took over and, you know, started bringing the families back, and then you had, you know, the 90s, the new generation, the battle with WCW and WWF getting their butts kicked, and, you know, WCW was using the nostalgia to bring in Hogan, Savage, Piper, you know, bring in the WWF's top stars like Nash and Hall and Syxx and, you know, guys like that, you know, to play on the guys that grew up in the early part of the new generation. Hey, I watched these guys a couple years ago on WWF, let's watch them on WCW. And, you know, through the evolution of that, you had Vince, you know, have Bret Hart shove him on his ass in 1997, and the Attitude Era started with the advent of Raw as War compared to Monday Night Raw.
Yes.
You have, you know, the WWF pretty much get its chutzpah that Vince always claimed it had. They just started showing it more. With the end of the Monday Night Wars, you had the brand extension era, which, you know, created competition for itself, Raw versus SmackDown, blah blah blah, and that was also, as you mentioned, the Ruthless Aggression era, with, you know, a certain gentleman wearing these hideous bicycle shorts with the color of the local team, you know, coming out saying Ruthless Aggression and smacking Kurt Angle upside the head. And then you went on from there to, unfortunately, the deal with Mattel and the Senate campaign and the PG era. Yeah. You know, granted, we don't like what's going on right now, but things are getting better in WWE, and things are glorious in TNA, except the fact they're not getting ratings points or making huge money. But the writing is fucking unbelievable in TNA right now. And TNA has had its own thing. You know, they had the era of the NWA, which lasted 5 years. You know, it was still a very southern drawl type. It was very NASCAR-ish. TNA was when the NWA was running it, because you had, you know, guys like Dusty and Jim Cornette and everything doing their thing, and now TNA is really, you know, come into its own. And yeah, they signed away every freaking WWE superstar they could, but you know what? They still have their own identity, and that's what makes it special in TNA now.
I'd even break it down, and prior to like the NWA thing, because you know the NWA era in TNA is a little bit too broad. I'd go as far as to say the Asylum era.
Okay.
And then the move to Impact, the Impact era,
right?
And now, you know, where they are today.
Okay, I'll concede that. That's very true, because you know, even
because they were even more southern, if you can believe it, in the Asylum era.
Oh, good grief!
Based out of, you know, the little freaking
the Nashville Fairgrounds.
Yeah, the fairgrounds in Tennessee.
Fairgrounds, Tennessee, and you know, moving to Universal definitely helped escape. God, Canadian today. Yeah, exactly.
That's what it's all about.
That's right. I'm gonna get so much in trouble for that when this show goes up. I'm in trouble. Hi. All right.
That's what happens when you have phone calls with blondes.
Ooh.
Love you.
I did not say that. That did not happen. When they moved to Orlando, it definitely helped escape that. I did escape this time. I'm in trouble with it. It had to help them break out of that schmores. That's right. Helped them break away from that southern look, even, because the Asylum very much looked like a southern little like rundown type arena. They moved to a big television studio in Universal Studios, leaps and bounds better looking. You know, I've been to the Impact Zone. It's a decent looking little building, the little soundstage. You know, is it like a big arena like they have like the Bound for Glory's in and things like that? No, of course not. But it's meant to be for television production, which is what they do. So,
what is the one that you've got for us on Twitter?
I got a juicy one, because this is geared toward your style.
Okay.
All right.
Let me get ready here.
Yeah. Okay. For some reason, his name is BJ Greer, but his Twitter name is @Clue_Coleone.
Okay.
Still with K's.
Okay.
My opponent versus your opponent. Best of 3 falls, submissions only.
Okay.
Why would each of our opponents win?
Okay.
Now, since he sent it to me,
you got to go first.
I'm going to go first. And I'm not going to go the route that I think you're going to go, because I don't want to take that guy away from you. I'm going to go... I just toss this in the air, and I'm going to go with Brian. Because I'm thinking you're going to go with somebody else. If you're going to go with Brian, I apologize in advance for stealing them away from you.
No.
Okay, good.
Who do you think I'm going to go with?
I'm thinking you're going to go through the Benoit angle.
No.
Okay, well then I'm totally off.
I would if this was, you know, another day, but, you know, since this is supposed to be Renegade Day and I have no indie to do, I'm gonna go the certified badass Rick Ellis.
Okay, there you go. So we have a Bryan Danielson versus Rick Ellis submission match. A little Benoit. Peanut gallery over there. I don't know what they're talking about.
Seriously. Go get some more s'mores.
Go get some more s'mores. With your whatever you're drinking over there today. I would pick Brian, because we still yet to see Brian fully unleashed on the WWE Universe, as far as unleashing the cow mutilation on somebody. And, you know, we've seen his elbows come into play, just not him using them.
Yeah.
You know, elbowing the guy into submission in the Indies with his elbow shots. Punk's been doing that against Brian Sunday night, as a matter of fact. I definitely go with Bryan Danielson. Bryan Danielson, make that clear, not Daniel Bryan. Let me make that clear right now. Because Daniel Bryan's getting ready for a wedding next week. But Brian would, you know, Brian in like the mid-2000s, I'm talking like 6 and 7, you know, the Angry Dragon, the bald, goateed out dragon, would...
That was more 05. By 06, 07, you know, he was freaking Gorilla Champion. He was starting to come back to his...
Well, to be fair, I've seen in 05 recently. It was September 05 when he won the title. He was freaking babyface and bushy-haired, you know. So maybe those first 4 months as champion, he went all freaking psycho Lucifer style. I haven't seen everything yet, but
I just remember when I went to the first All-Star Weekend in April of 05, it was the bald, like demon goatee dragon.
Okay, well then he was still being a nice guy about it in the process, but Anyway, that Bryan Danielson would come to the ring and just, kick ass now, to make people tap out now and then ask questions later.
Yeah.
And that guy, even against a guy like Rick Ellis, who, like you said, certified badass, I think would, he would, I don't know if he would out badass Rick Ellis, but he would out wrestle Rick Ellis. And I think that you throwing Rick Ellis at me makes me go, God damn, because Rick Ellis would, not only put him in a crossface like Ellis uses, but he'd break the arm in the process of getting the victory. So
at the end of the day, what I think it would come down to, for those of you that don't know Rick Ellis, you need to look him up on YouTube.
Yes.
Rick Ellis is just hungrier at the end of the day. Even Bryan 0607 was the American fucking Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
He had already been ROH champ. He was already, Gorilla champ. He was already, a main event star, globally known.
Right.
Rick Ellis is hungrier now and would do anything to win.
Okay.
I don't know if Bryan 0607 would take those measures to do anything in his power to win. I think he'd underestimate and end up being his downfall.
Yeah, remember, Bryan Danielson 07 was the guy that lost his eye almost.
I know.
For the sake of competition.
I know.
So both those guys are definitely badasses at the point that we're referencing. So it would definitely be one for the ages, and it would definitely be something that I would love to put into one of those Rocky Balboa movie computer-generated fights and see what would happen if we just turn them loose, computer-generated matches.
That would be pretty awesome.
Maybe
Fire Pro Wrestling.
Fire Pro Wrestling. Get Bruce on that. Get Bruce on that and make that happen. So that's where we stand on those two topics. I hope you guys enjoyed that. We have
this coming Thursday on our traditional Dad's show. Let's go ahead and put this over real quick.
Oh, okay. I was going to plug RSI tomorrow real quick first. Since it is something
no one watches RSI. I'm kidding. We can put that over in a second. Okay, but while we're on the subject of dads,
go ahead.
We need to make sure people are paying attention.
Yeah, very true.
Okay.
Short attention spans, I understand.
If you want to be a part of Dads on Wrestling, you need to submit a video response to either yesterday's After the Bell or today's Dads on Wrestling and talk about your favorite Raw moment of all time.
Yep.
Because this coming Thursday, we are going to be sitting here in these seats in this lovely studio talking about our own favorite Raw moments.
All right, and
we want to include you.
Yeah, and if y'all have already touted that, that's awesome. We don't mind you giving WWE the first crack at it because it's their show. But yeah, send us your video responses to yesterday's show with me or today's Dads that you're watching right now, and we're not going to say keep it like 15 seconds because that's like no time at all. But keep it
no more than a minute.
No more than a minute. That way we can loop it in because not only are we going to have y'all's responses, we're going to be hopefully including Jade and Double A and Stat Boy
and a few other surprises that we have dusted off.
That's right. People that you've seen on this channel before, people that you haven't seen on this channel before, which is going to make people go, oh God, what did they do? Now that I've said that.
Nothing from No DQ. Let's just squash those rumors right now.
Although I will be seeing him this weekend. God. So that's going to be Thursday's Dads with y'all's videos. Now,
tomorrow on RSI.
The one that you guys have actually been requesting us to do. The one you guys voted on. Because we've been, I'm going to break it. We've been canning shit left and right around here. But, it's like we haven't actually watched the one that y'all voted on. Well, this time
we have. We've been watching the ones y'all been voted on. Let's not completely throw us under the bus as like nincompoops. But during the day when the boy wants to watch a movie, we try to, push a G or a PG movie with a wrestler on him so that we can kill two birds with one stone. Get a movie done that we need to watch anyways. Give him something that's not Yellow Submarine or Meet the Robinsons or something else that he beats to death around here. Captain EO or anything else Michael Jackson. We try to give him other choices, and it's a 2-for-1 deal on our end because it's something we got to watch and review anyways. Watch it, bang the review out.
But the problem is, after Bolt, Planet 51, and the Spider-Man movies, which are even borderline a little, bad, it's like, what can he watch? Because all these wrestling,
we've got more.
All right, well.
We have Knucklehead. We have High Noon at Mega Mountain. We have Muppets from Space. We have Problem Child.
Problem Child, I'm leery about him watching. Give the Demon Kid ideas. I'm just throwing that out there now. He's my kid. I know better.
Anyways,
if we show
back to the point.
If we show him Junior's antics, it's going to be problems.
Back to the point. We are going to be reviewing.
Yes.
Well, not we, because I'm not on this show.
Yeah.
Jade sits here.
Jade sits there.
They are going to be reviewing Mr. Money in the Bank in 12 rounds.
I like how that sounds. 12 rounds starring Mr. Money in the Bank, John Cena. I like that.
The worst Cena movie that I have seen to date.
Oh, shut up.
I'm just throwing it out there. I'm not on the show. I believe that y'all actually kept me to a minimal this time instead of dragging me in like you always do. Out of the 3 movies I've seen of his, The Marine, Legendary, and 12 Rounds, 12 Rounds is the worst that I have seen.
Now, okay, let me ask you this. Since I've got you here and we're still talking about John, would you rate would you rate John Cena My Life, the DVD bio, worse than 12 Rounds?
I don't recall if I've seen that one.
That's too late.
I know we have it.
Yes.
I believe I've seen the My Life DVD bio.
Yes.
I don't think I would call it worse than 12 Rounds. I'd probably have to watch it again.
Okay.
By and far, Word Life is the best John Cena DVD ever produced.
Yes.
Legendary, second place.
Yeah. And what we need to do is get DVD remote actually, let us scroll through the menus on My Life.
Yeah.
That we can actually, watch all 3 discs without having to be a spaz. So, alright. Tomorrow is RSI with 12 rounds, and then the Big Dads previewing Raw 1000, giving us your Raw memories.
Stat Boy will be here on Friday. I'm sure he'll be talking about Money in the Bank.
Yes.
I'm sure he'll be talking about Raw. He'll probably be talking about, probably a little bit of Anaheim Angels action.
You mean more than he did all day yesterday while we were gone?
Wow.
You were on Facebook yesterday at the movie? Freaking play-by-play every freaking at-bat!
Yeah, I was fucking sitting here when he was doing it.
Oh, it's okay, because I was on during that part.
He posted, that he was watching Angels live, and I replied to his comment like, I know, I'm sitting here next to you.
Yeah, I'm up with the boy at the mall,
so,
and freaking, I'm getting Facebook every 2 seconds. I'm like,
this weekend, special weekend shows will be back.
Yes.
We don't have predictions to do.
No.
We're going to talk about our top 10 80s cartoons. Me and Jade, Ringside Renegades, Stat Boys Bill, and Double Down with Double A, all making appearances on the channel this weekend.
80s cartoons, back when cartoons were actually good.
Right.
Back when we woke up Saturday mornings, and either before or after Saved by the Bell, depending on what time of day that was on that year.
You know what? I'm going to throw it out here right now. Make your video responses to our top 10 80 cartoons. Go ahead and film those. Give you some time to think about it so that as soon as you see those videos go up, you can have the responses ready to go.
Alright, kids. Those are your assignments. It's summer school.
That's right.
Get your video responses out there.
Do it now.
That's right. And for the Dads on Wrestling, he's the Renegade.
He's Jeff Meacham.
And we will see you guys
next time.